So it's actually been a week since I started recording this, maybe slightly longer. As you can see, I've had a change in scenery. I built myself a new spray booth, much more effective than the old one. So yeah, I also added a little bit of speed paint purple to the inside of his jacket, just so that I can see what's going off and I got a feel for everything. I also very quickly just highlighted some of these scars a little bit more with a bit of white paint, because I need to spray over the top of everything with some light blue. So I've taken a little bit of this sky blue, added a little bit of white to it, and I've turned it into sort of a wash, which hopefully will do the trick and finish this one off. I say finish him off, I'm still going to have to work on him obviously. I'm not going to complete a model like this in just a couple of hours. But I don't really want to be focusing too much on Citadel washers and things like Villaggio fuel stains and stuff like that, because we're trying to take a look at the paints, not those. So yeah, so in this half of the video I've just painted these areas black, so I'm going to be dry brushing on some Pro Acryl metallics, so we'll see how they work, because they're very thin sort of runny paint, so it's going to be interesting to see how they dry brush. And I've also heard back from Army Painter, so they say that they've never heard of the problem with some of them drying satin, some of them drying glossy, some of them drying matte. They're going to send me a new set of paints plus my missing bottle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate Army Painter review where I take that box, I unbox it on camera, and then we'll do the same test again and we'll actually paint a model with them to see the differences. But I have also had a little look on YouTube at a few other reviews of those paints, and other people have said the same thing that I have, that some of them are dry in satin and some of them are dry in matte, but we'll see. But it's nice of them to do that. So yeah, so we're going to lay down some blue on this guy and some weathering effects. For Sauron we're going to test the blacks, so I'm going to test some of the new Army Painter matte black, some of the original Army Painter matte black, and we're going to try the Pro Acryl black. So I'm going to use a different black on each part and we'll see how they dry. So just so that the base, I'll remove that. So just so that the base part of this can dry, because we're going to use a lot of water, I'm just going to take some of this Villaggio oil stains and some Villaggio fuel stains. This hasn't been given any clear coat, but I did give it a quick dry brush with some silver just to highlight the edges. I think it looks pretty cool. Just going to zoom in a bit. I think that view looks okay. Oh, it's a bit manky. Just caught that before it dropped inside. These aren't the sort of mediums that you'd airbrush on anyway. I need a big brush, synthetic. Get these right, oil stains. As you can see, I'm not really using any sort of method to this. Fuel stains. Oh, sorry, wrong one. spray bottle with some water in it. I want to blend those together. Just going to add a little bit more of a concentrated bit here, dripping down the side. Blend that into the bottom there. I don't want any streaks. Just going to use a cotton bud to soak up a little bit of the excess here. There we go, boom. And take a little bit out of this lolly. I think that should be about done. Just going to move this out of the way. So yeah, so now I'm just going to spray some sky blue, slightly diluted sky blue. This already still looks too strong to me. Yeah. I'll take a little bit more thinner. I'll try that. So I'm actually going to use the Takumi Eclipse for this. Switch the spray booth on. Starting to look a lot better. Change the camera angle again. Back to that as well. So 3 pots, 3 blacks. I don't want no one saying I didn't shake them up properly. Shaken up as it's ever going to be. fan it at the top. I don't want to use loads of this. So you can see how much thicker the original one is. This is flow improver. Just it's a fair contest. I'm just going to add a dash more to this. Just so the consistency is more of the same. This stuff's already pretty thin, so that's pretty thin. So I'll do the base with the new formula. We're not going to get the whole base covered. In fact, we'll probably just do half and half so we can see the difference. It's thick. See, this is might be a little bit too thick still. Now there is a little bit here that hasn't been covered, so I am just going to cover those bits here. Still got a tiny bit left. I'll just blast that onto his armour. These was already primed with army paint, the original. There we go. That's gone. And for the Pro Acryl. It's still sticking to the bottom. If it's sticking to the bottom quite a lot, there's no point in trying to pour it into the cup because you're going to leave 10% of the pigment behind. That's better. Then again, I've never used this black before, so just separate this black. I'm going to spray his clothes just because they've both got the same primer on, so I don't want that to be a factor. So actually just switch to Army Painter Black, the original for this second half of this plate. It's not covered as nicely as the Pro Acryl. Black. So because I had to spray the paint on quite heavily, I actually went and had a cup of coffee while I waited for this to dry. I kept coming in and having a look at it, and it kept looking a little bit wet, so I kept leaving it. It's been about 40 minutes now, so if it's not dry, it's never going to be. It is dry. It's not coming off, so. But you can clearly see there's a difference. And if I just remove this cloak a second. If you look at the cloak, you can see the difference between the Pro Acryl and the original Army Painter. So the original, this is the Pro Acryl are very matte. They're not very matte, but you can tell that they are matte. The original Army Painter looks matte satin sort of thing. If we look at the base, which is sealed down, I'm just leaning up against this a second. I'll do. You can clearly see the difference. So Army Painter, if you are watching, your black dries glossy. So it's satin, and then it goes really glossy, and then you get the original colour, the original matte black. And I think this is where I sprayed it the heaviest. So in the emails they told me that they had added retarder so that the paints stay wetter for longer, so you can manipulate them a little bit. I'm not sure if you paint them on too heavy or spray them on too heavy, I'm not sure if the pigment sort of separates from the binder, so you sort of get like the binder drying on top, which has that glossy finish, or if there's something more to it, like if this is just the way the formula works. We'll find out more when the extra set arrives. I just caught that. So yeah, so that's the blacks. Just getting rid of these. So I've just added a little bit of copper, bronze and dark silver to the palette. Start off with, I'm going to use the Citadel dry brush. I put way too much out again. Start off with the bronze. It's a very, very dark bronze. Oh, oh dear. Now I'm going to use some copper. I'm actually going to use a smaller dry brush for this. I'm using the Citadel dry brushes. I like it. I think they're pretty cool. But push them out of the way a little bit. I'm going to try out some of this silver. I'm going to switch to a Green Stuff World dry brush. I prefer Green Stuff World. I've got all of them. I've got the Army Painters. I've got all the Opus ones. But Opus are very expensive. I think these are about $16.99 per brush for this size, and they don't last very long. I think I chucked my old ones away. Yeah, I have. Yeah. So once they get down to about here, which it doesn't take long, that's it. They go really stiff and they're kind of crap. They also wear inwards. A good example would be my old Army Painter one. You can see it's sort of going like that. When you originally buy them, they sort of curve this way. These are softer than the Opus ones. These are really good for feathering and stuff. but again, don't last too long. And once they get past like the halfway point, they become really stiff. The Green Stuff World ones, so the biggest one is the number 9, and this is a well used one. You get the most value for money out of the Green Stuff World ones, because they're so soft. They're still usable even when they wear right down. Anyway, way overdid that. Wrecking the place again. So I'll start off somewhere out the way. Oh, that's not too bad. So this is like the all over silver that, well, yeah, the all over silver that I'd use. And then obviously we come in later on and get lighter and lighter. I do like how this is going on there. I'm not going to take so much off this time. Start at the bottom where it would be the most worn or buffed up, shiny. And bring that in. That's a nice black metal, that is. I use a smaller dry brush to get in there. Like I say, we're not doing the whole model, just testing out some of the colours. To one side for a minute. Do his legs as well. We'll have the other, like I say, we had the other shades on later. Polish up those hips. You always want to start in the most out of the way place. That way if you've overloaded the brush, it's not that big of a deal. Plus is things like his feet and these spikes will be the most worn or shiny. Also, all of that comes later anyway. Like I say, this is just the foundation. I think that's going to look pretty cool. I'll just grab a little bit of bright gold. I need a tiny bit of this. Just to do the tips of this badge. Yeah, maybe a bit on the other side as well. Doing the tops of these. I'll have to do those with a smaller dry brush. I'm just going to quickly hit up Sauron with a bit of bright silver. I want to see what it's like. That's still a bit too heavy. People always ask what do you do if you go wrong. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just black with just mingle it in, use a bit of Nuln oil. So I'm only going to go one way with this, which is down. concentrate on the middle. Oh yeah. Turn a 1 hour video into a 3 hour video. Typical me. We'll use a different colour for the upstrokes. So I've just gone and got the base. It's not 100% dry yet, but you can get the idea. Break it. It's just made it look sort of dingy and dirty and greasy. Oil stained. So, as you can see, we've had a little tidy up, and I'm going to wrap things up here because it's already another day. I had to wrap things up last night because I was just too tired to carry on. This morning I did finish off his armour, so I basically just did exactly the same as what I did in the video. I used the same colours just to blend everything in. And I also dry brushed the base with what colour is it? Neutral grey, and I dry brushed the skulls with ivory. Normally I would have used skeleton bone and white for the skulls, but with this being a Pro Acryl review, I'm trying to stick to using primarily their paints. So I used ivory with a little bit of white, and then I did go over the top of those with some Citadel sepia. And just to sort of wrap things up, I painted over the base, like the whole lot, with some charcoal powder and water, charcoal wash. This soaks into, it basically acts like Nuln Oil, but it leaves behind like a lovely sort of rocky, powdery, Mordor type rocky look. I use this same method on the Great Wolf for Witch Song Miniatures, and I also use this on the Aliens project, so to create the LV sort of rocky planet. It's a very, very good method, and I just used a little bit of Citadel Nuln Oil to seal that down, because when you paint this on, it looks fantastic, but it basically just dries as a powder, which if you're not happy with, you can just use a brush to brush it away from any areas that you don't want. But once you're happy with it, then like I say, you just spray a bit of clear coat on there, or a wash or something that will just soak into the powder and seal it down permanently. But I think it's a really effective method. I really like using that method. The only other thing that I've done is gone over a couple of areas with a rattle pen. So normally if I want a mirror chrome finish on any edges and stuff like that, I would use Green Stuff World's chrome paints, their mirror chrome set, but his armour's not that shiny that you can see your face in it, so these Eden rattle pens are sort of in between a mirror chrome finish and just a really, really polished finish. And all you do is very, very carefully just sort of drag it along any edges or areas that you want to highlight. Don't worry if you make a mistake, you can take it off with a cotton bud and a bit of solvent, and you can also blend it in and dry brush over the top to sort of blend the two together. But yeah, really cool, easy method to add a little bit of extra sparkle. Oh, I did manage to find a spare Yaka arrow, so I didn't even know that I had this. So this is the arrow that I prepared, but this one was the first attempt, and once I sort of got the technique down and knew what I was doing, I moved on to this one. But this one, I didn't glue everything in place, so the LEDs have all moved out of alignment, so basically I need to start again and shove those LEDs along. It will also need injecting with some clear coat or epoxy resin so that it makes it shiny on the inside and stuff. So if any of you are interested in seeing how I put the arrow together and how to do the actual scraping technique on the fin, let me know in the comments, and I will film the assembly of this arrow so that I've got a backup, and I'll try out some fibre optics as well, because I've just had some more flexible fibre optic arrive. I'm just not sure if it'll work with this particular model. The arrow sits about like that, so the fibre optic would have to come out of here at the very base and just sort of loop around or something behind him, and then go back under the base where it will be lit with either a laser diode or an LED, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it goes, whether or not it works with this particular model. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and if you find any of this useful, please like and subscribe, and yeah, I will catch you on the next video.